It's over, and this time there's no going back. They say all political careers end in disaster, but in this case, it's Meghan Markle's entertainment offering, which has just received its RIP.
All right, buckle up, because this one's a ride. Meghan Markle's latest Netflix venture, With Love, Meghan, Season 2, no less, has gone down like a lead balloon, and honestly, the crash is louder than anything we've seen in her post-royal career. What started as a glossy, staged attempt at lifestyle content has turned into one of the most public PR meltdowns of the year. Here's the cold reality. The stats don't lie.
Look at this from the Salty Duchess. After just 5 days, With Love Meghan continues to plummet down the charts globally. On day 1, it was ranked number 73, day 2, 85, day 3, 98, day 4, 118, day 5, 127. The whole world is well and truly over. Meghan Markle unsuccessful as ever, to use her phrase. And what's interesting is that I wanted to be completely fair, because you may have seen some of these crazy members of the Sussex squad are actually photoshopping Meghan Markle's With Love on Netflix charts to try and trick social media that actually she's doing great. So I asked Grok to look at every single top 10 list all around the world, just to be absolutely certain that we're not missing Meghan being a phenomenon in the Philippines, for example. She's made 2 lists. Australia for 1 day on August the 29th at number 10, and Sri Lanka for 3 days, peaking at number 6 on August the 28th. And of course, the reviews just get worse by the day. According to Niall Gardner, the Times of London has given the most brutal. I watched Meghan's twaddle. It's like being waterboarded with treacle. It's no wonder the Duchess's Netflix series has been beaten in the ratings by Peppa Pig. But Peppa Pig has numbers that Meghan Markle could only dream of. So now we turn to PR sensation, and now on YouTube too, Lauren Lunn Farrow Media, who has been looking very closely into this over the past week. Lauren, there's no way back now. There's no way back for a Series 3 unless she decides to fund it herself, because this is just a waste of money.
Before that you can't, as a publicist, argue with stats. This is the worst nightmare for a PR, because you can't PR your way out of it. Now, I was wondering, had she made number 1 in any territory, and then they would kind of go down that narrative of number 1 Netflix show. But truly, there is no way back for this, because the people have spoken. This is what happens when you are disingenuous. This is what happens when you fail to connect with people, and people can see through it. They would have been so much better to have done a show that whereby it was, you know, we've rented a cabin for a week, we're all going to have a lovely week making crafts and cooking, you know, we know it's not real life. Oh no, they decided to ultimately look like they were replicating her life, and it just leaves viewers feeling like she is so deeply out of touch, and that is why people haven't tuned in.
100%, 100%. And I guess, Lauren, it also shows you that this whole hate-watching phenomenon, which is what Netflix and Ted Sarandos were banking on, really, the fact that we sort of care about Meghan Markle no matter what she's doing. Indeed, that only goes so far, because people knew the recipe, they knew what was coming, and they didn't go back for seconds, even to point and laugh.
Yeah, I mean, you see the funniest clips online, and they're not, you know, you're not laughing with them, you're laughing at them. And I always said, to really know how well this show has done or will do, don't look at the first day. Of course, it's going to do the best it will do, because that's when the core fan base come up. But you want to look at the second, third, fourth, fifth day. You want to look 1 month down the line. This, I've worked on so many projects where it starts very well and then the PR disaster comes because it's slipping down and down. And that gets very, very hard to spin. There's no way Netflix can be happy with this either, because it's not just like people can say, well, it's just America and England that don't like her. No, it's the world can see she is not a genuine person. She is not Martha Stewart.
That's for sure. That is for sure. I think the best thing to come out of this entire series, though, is the spoofs. We have a new one, Lauren. Watch this.
Day 1. The show ranked at number 73 globally. By day 5, number 127. That's not a decline. It's a free fall. And sure, the Sussex Squad, the small but noisy fan base that still insists Meghan can do no wrong, tried photoshopping fake Netflix charts to make it look like a hit. But even that stunt couldn't disguise the truth. Globally, the show barely made a dent. Her only wins? A number 10 spot in Australia for a single day, and a brief flicker in Sri Lanka, peaking at number 6. That's it. Everywhere else, radio silence. Netflix didn't pay Meghan tens of millions for a Sri Lankan moment in the sun.
To season 2, it's the same as season 1. Some people says it feels staged. I feel like it's perfectly staged. For my guest, I'm thinking a super easy caramelized onion tart. It only takes 4.5 hours of really slow onion cutting. So darling. I only host people I love or people with very large platforms. This is my jam. No, literally, I made jam. So sweet. Ricotta. Everyone knows ricotta is the Italian cousin of cream cheese. And then I love to sprinkle flowers on everything. My tart, my latte, my child. And for the s'mores, of course, I'm going to be using these homemade small batch vanilla bean turmeric marshmallows. You don't have any? Oh, I wouldn't even bother then. My favorite roses are Suits Syndication Mauve, Influencer Party Launch Beige, and Non-Disclosure Agreement Pink. They remind me of home. Ta-ta, darlings, it's way past our bread time, and H and I are rewatching Suits. Also now streaming on Netflix.
And actually, it's much better to watch that than the actual show.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. After I watched the whole series, to come on your show, because I would never have watched it otherwise, but I had to know, was it really as bad as I thought? I filmed little bits throughout my day because I'd watched it and everything was so perfect. So my daughter threw her food on the floor. There were tantrums. My kitchen was just so messy. The dogs jumping up on the table to eat stuff. And I thought, I can't be the only working mum in the country that is actually, this is reality. And it left me really cross that this is toxic broadcasting, what Netflix are doing. And if we're, looking at influencers that are slim and going hard down on them, then let's start looking at broadcasting standards, because I think this is completely offensive to every working mum out there, every mum out there, every woman running a home or man running a home. It's not acceptable. And so Netflix have to take accountability for this. The people have spoken. We do not want it. And I have seen so many people have unsubscribed from Netflix as well since they put this series out.
Exactly. When does this become actually commercially negative for Netflix, where actually you're going to be losing, you're going to be losing more subscribers than you're going to be gaining? Canal Citadel, who I always love, had a very good take on this on X. She wrote, as predicted, With Love Meghan Season 2 has tanked worse than Season 1. From the launch and these statistics, one could tell the interest was simply not there. Yet Netflix tried to force this rubbish down their audience's throat for a second time, and the results are abysmal. Yes, Taylor Swift announcing her engagement blew that show out of the news cycle, but the truth is, even on the first day, Meghan was nowhere near the Netflix top 10. Usually in her cycle of failed business venture, Meghan at least gets to gloat for a little before the official numbers are out. But this time she went straight out, battling it out for the bottom spot. So Meg started trying to fight to stay in the 100 Netflix shows, which she fell out of on day 4. My father had an expression for that when we were in elementary school and brought back less than stellar results. He would say, so your friends went to school to learn and be the top pupils in the class, while my daughter went to school accompanying them to hold their lunch and fight to be the one before last. Indeed, if your starting spot was never near the top, how can you blame Taylor Swift for overshadowing you? What was she overshadowing? Failure? It's very clear the new first look deal given to H&M after cancelling their big money contract was a clear way to let them down easy and save face. H&M consistently failed to perform, and everyone knows that.
So what does all of this mean? Meghan has officially hit the point of no return in Hollywood. She tried lifestyle branding. She tried Netflix docu soap. She tried podcasts. Every single attempt has flopped. The world has seen through the curated Instagram veneer. People don't relate to her, don't trust her, and don't want to watch her.
All they have on record as performance is them bashing the royal family. Besides that, everything they put out fails. Well, and so there is no need to even remove the royal titles from H&M. They have proven that they are so inherently talentless that with or without titles, the results remain the same. Consistent and persistent failure. And Lauren, there was something I wanted to pick up on you from that post, because this is something that has been briefed by Team Montecito and being picked up by the Sussex squad. I think it is completely ridiculous. The idea that, if Taylor Swift hadn't announced her engagement to Travis Kelce, then we would all have been talking about With Love Meghan. It's like, no, don't delude yourself.
It is such a cheap shot, because Taylor Swift sells out arenas all around the world, consistently goes to number 1. Taylor Swift is incredibly talented. She has pivoted time and time again. She's a true artist. People love her. They resonate with her because she is real. She's vulnerable. She's not selling an image that is fake and just banking on it for money. People that are Swifties on the whole, and I know there'll be people that are outside of this category, but they are largely making Swiftie bracelets. They are not sat at home wanting to learn how to make scam jam or anything else that Meghan made. So there is no correlation between Meghan's show bombing and Taylor Swift getting engaged. This is the most ludicrous thing I've heard, because publicity only takes you so far. If people don't like you, they are not going to tune in. That is a fact.
And then obviously, Lauren, we see this desperate need now for the Sussexes to maneuver their way back into the royal fold. And so I was outraged, actually, on Friday's show, because I was so angry with this Daily Mirror front page, which I genuinely believe was an attempt by Prince Harry to almost bully Charles into meeting. Like, he will look bad in Harry's mind if he doesn't go forward, because you'll see the quotation marks on that front page, Lauren, to meet Charles in quotation marks, because this is something that has just been briefed by Harry's team in the hope that it almost forces Charles into a meeting.
Yeah, and what I actually find really interesting is the Sussexes, they keep wanting to try and play the mainstream game, but it's all so disjointed. There is no strategy to how they're actually operating with the mainstream. So every single piece of press that, we think is placed by them, it doesn't actually have any impact, and they are trying to set King Charles up to look bad, but ultimately we've seen Harry and Meghan's track record. We have the proof of what they have said time and time again on the record, but also clearly there are heavy briefings going on sporadically off the record, and it's very, very clear to see what they're trying to do, because King Charles, it is very difficult for him to answer back to this. And also, I'm sure his team have much bigger things they are working with the press on than whether he will or won't meet Harry, because we've just seen this go round and round in circles time and time again.
Well, of course. But there is, Lauren, this other underlying issue. And Tom Sykes, who is the European editor at large at the Daily Beast, but also runs his own Substack, The Royalist. Now, he was on the show last week talking about this, but he's gone into it a little bit more in his latest post, and I wanted to explore it with you. It's about the fact that King Charles and William have this troubled relationship, which isn't really spoken about in the press much because the mainstream media don't really want to come between Charles and William certainly doesn't brief against his father, even though there is some briefing from Buckingham Palace against William. But what Tom Sykes writes is that troubled relationship is making it very difficult for Charles to agree to a meeting with Harry.
Meanwhile, Harry's attempt to pressure Charles into meetings only make things worse. William won't have it. The monarchy won't bend. And without royal legitimacy, Meghan and Harry have nothing left to sell. The Sussex brand was built on rebellion against the royals, but rebellion only works when the audience is rooting for you. Now, the audience is tuned out. Meghan thought she could build an empire on victimhood, curated aesthetics, and endless royal bashing. But the numbers don't lie. The public is done. Her show didn't just flop. It exposed the limits of her influence. Hollywood isn't calling. Netflix is losing patience. The royals have shut their doors. And the public? They've moved on. And the saddest part? Meghan still doesn't seem to realize it. She's blaming Taylor Swift, clinging to titles, and staging PR stunts instead of asking the real question. Why doesn't this connect with people? Because the truth is simple. You can't fake authenticity. You can't PR your way out of failure. And when the world stops caring, no amount of stage jam making will bring them back.